Well, I think the thing is with Auburn's older shows is that it's great when somebody comes to you with a new idea and a new idea of how to do it. Jamie had done a production of Vita in Regent's Park in London a few years back now, and is just about to do it again in London with Rachel Zegler, so it's very exciting. And so I obviously knew his work, and I followed Jamie's work for a long time. And so it was very exciting when he came to me, and also with the thought that Nicole might do it. I've known Nicole for a very long time. She played Grisabella in Cats in London, and the thought that she would do Norma was incredible for me, because she's got such a fantastic voice. I mean, she can really act through music in a way that very few people can. And therefore, I mean, it all seemed to be great. But the most exciting thing was when Jamie told me what he intended to do with it. And it was quite radical.
Yeah. Well, we've spoken a lot about that, haven't we, over the years. But it's amazing that Andrew was just so open-minded and collaborative every step of the way. So really, so grateful to him for entrusting the piece to us and allowing us to find that new way to tell the story.
I've found over the years that if you're working with first-rate directors, it becomes very, very exciting, because the process in the rehearsal room, it becomes just one of those things that you can't repeat. I mean, that's why one's in theatre, why I love working in theatre so much. And we began to make the show darker, and Jamie came up with a quite radical suggestion that a couple of the songs actually were cut, which I think was right, because they were, when you look back at it, a little old-fashioned. And I think that it was the right decision, and it made it possible to make the show a lot darker in a way. And anyway, I'm looking forward to working with Jamie. We're doing a new show together after Vita called The Illusionist, and that'll open in London, I reckon, in September of next year, produced by the wonderful Michael Harrison, who produced Sunset and is producing Vita, and is now my, we have a partnership together that Michael's going to be producing all my work from now onwards.
It was the most wonderful experience. Everyone on that team is so integral to everything, and it might look like a minimalist production, but actually, I think it's almost maximalist. It's so detailed. The kind of Sutra's work in scenic work is just sort of stunning. Although she's not designing these kind of massive sets, it's so much intricate detail, and being a part of that and forming this world, very much this kind of very special collaboration on this show, and just so much fun exploring the work, exploring the story, being inspired by fabulous cast like Nicole, Tom. They're just amazing. So really, really lovely forming this world around kind of Andrew's soaring music. It's not enough superlatives to explain what this process has been like. It's wonderful.
For us, mean a lot. It's impossible to resume in one word what that means. First of all, we carry on our shoulder the whole culture of one country and all the music, all the love, all the pain and suffering, and the legacy and the responsibility to carry on this thing to the highest level. That's it.
I mean, these songs, even when the album came out in the 90s, these were songs that everybody knew, that they grew up with, their parents taught them. So for us to bring it to Broadway was a huge challenge, especially doing a score entirely in Spanish. But we know the music communicates beyond language, and you can feel it, the audience can feel it, and it's just been so much, I've had so much pride and so much, just playing music with these amazing musicians every night and learning so much about their culture and these songs. It's just been so meaningful, and we feel it from the audience every show. It's incredible.
I think when in 1997, when all happened with Buena Vista, this music was already the legacy of our country. So they are classics. They'll be in trending forever. Good music, it's always in trending, and we have in our hands now the possibility to pass it to the future and be there every week to give it to the audience in the best quality and joy possible.
I keep saying I have to find another word besides everything, but it's literally that. My parents introduced me to this band and their music, so now I'm getting to do it, you know, because not everybody that's in the audience knows the song. Yes, a lot of people do, but a lot of people are new, and when I see them at stage door or anywhere for that matter, in a store, it's, you know, they've downloaded it as soon as the show ended or intermission or, you know, whatever it is, and I am so proud to be a part of that and the reason that they know the band now. Oh, man. This was a good one to come home to. It is a very authentic situation, the whole thing. The band, the dancers. Sahim is very, you know, kind of let me run around on the monkey bars, do what I have to do. It was very welcoming. And there were a lot of, you know, suggestions and ideas I had that they were more than willing to listen to, and some they took into consideration. Not all, but when I bring it back in 15 to 20 years. Yeah, that's great.
I think it probably started from taking a lot of trips to Cuba and getting a sense of like that essence. And one thing that became very apparent to us when we went was that dance was everywhere. It's on the streets, it's in the clubs, it's in the concert halls, and then it's something that we kind of like channeled and then spent a lot of time sort of together finding like what a kind of social dance for this show would feel like. And since we were working together, so much of it is about two people moving together.
Yeah, there isn't any footage or film or photos of what it's like on the in the island in the Buena Vista Social Club in the 50s. So we got to dream and imagine how to incorporate like different styles. Like at the time there wasn't even a codification of like salsa, mambo, but we wanted to mix that with like Afro-Cuban styles and even ballet and contemporary dance. And in Cuba, there's a lot of respect for all styles of dance, and they're really good at all styles of dance. So we just felt like we could just like take it all and kind of meld it together and create a new aesthetic for what we would imagine it to look like and feel like.
I've been trying not to cry for the whole evening. This is just amazing. This is just, you know, beyond my wildest dreams, and really seriously thanks to the theater community for embracing us.
I mean, none of this seems real at the moment. I think we're sort of in a fugue state. But yes, when we think back to the journey, it's truly incredible. And I think the risk-taking that everyone on the creative team and the producing team engaged in to take, like you said, an original show, an original idea that Hugh came up with, and to bring it this far, it really took an unbelievable team of people to do that.
Yeah, we're just incredibly grateful.
I mean, I think leadership is about acknowledging that everyone has something incredibly valuable that you don't know about, that they are just waiting to share. And so I always start every morning with a circle, because there's no hierarchy in a circle. And making sure that I'm creating a space in which people feel free to get things wrong, because we never find greatness by getting it right. We find it by kind of fumbling. Lynn Aron said, the failures and the foolishness lead us to the truth, and it's kind of how I like to lead.
There was a play that opened in 1960, and it was going to close after 1 week, and we were never in that situation, but Ed Sullivan and his wife came to see it. Ed Sullivan, for those who don't know, used to have a very popular Sunday night TV show, and he said everybody should go see this play, that play. And he really saved that play. The play was called All the Way Home, based on a memoir by a critic named James Agee. And It was then called The Miracle on 44th Street because instead of closing, there was a spurt at the box office, and they stayed open through the Tonys. They won the Tony that year. They won the Pulitzer Prize, and it was called The Miracle on 44th Street. And Hunter and I kind of felt that we are the miracle on 44th Street this year. We were never going to close, I tell you that. But it's no secret that when this show began performances, you know, Hunter still has a full head of hair, but I had a full head of hair too when this began. And those
I paid good money for it, don't worry.
Yeah, no.
It'd be gone if it
but
wasn't.
But it was, you know, what happened was our word of mouth was so good that it began to create a want-to-see factor for the show. And, you know, it was incredible. We began to build week after week. I mean, the one thing now is that you all can look at, you know, the history of grosses on a week-to-week basis and how we began our slow climb to, what would you say, solvency or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I think we always knew that this show, right, which has a very challenging elevator pitch, and one of the biggest challenges of opening any show on Broadway is you have no production material yet, right? That you have to get to your B-roll before you can even show it. So we have a show that was hard to tell. We couldn't yet show it. We knew it was going to require the audience being the people who built those grosses, who built that attendance, and you know, we had some early internal signs of life, meaning we could see raps going up, but there were a few weeks where, you know, you just prayed that what you believed and what you felt like you were seeing in the theater would actually be pulled through by those audiences, and I think we both feel exceptionally fortunate that that's how it played out.
It feels insane. I grew up in a little town in Merseyside, and I was obsessed with Broadway. And you convince yourself that these things don't happen to people like you. You just do. It's too far away. Even geographically, it is too far away. So to have been here, to kind of like my dream place, and for it to be so wonderful, everybody to be so kind to me, and for them to say, hey, do you know what? What you did is worthy of the highest accolade that we can give, is the best thing that has ever happened. I'm so grateful.
Congratulations.
So my Nanny Joan was my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, and she was my favorite person in the whole world, and she was like my biggest supporter, and kind of is the reason that I decided to pursue acting. It made her so happy that I thought I'd better do it. And I have a terrible thing that when a good thing happens, sometimes I think, oh, what's the point? She's not here. This is the best possible thing that could happen, but my goodness, wouldn't it have been so much better if I could tell Nanny Joan that I have this in my hand? Yeah.
I do try and remember that that hate only goes so far, only gets you so far. Though I'm frightened. I am truly frightened when I see people that say they vote that way to get back at us. That's so kindergarten. And it's frightening because it's also very powerful. But I find joy in my community and looking at what everybody is doing because real people don't want to be miserable. They want to be happy. They want to find joy in their lives. And it's only the make-believe thing that makes them mad. When they meet, I was watching. My brain is not working so well. I was crying and shit. But I was watching an old interview with Virginia Graham. Do you remember Virginia Graham? Not a person in this room is old enough to remember Virginia Graham. Well, she is. There was an old interview, and she was on the Virginia Graham show, and she had Troy Perry on, who was an openly gay minister. And she was telling him that he can't be a minister and gay. And it was like another world. I kept saying, do you not hear yourself when you say, I love God and I love all people, and my God is about loving people, and my God is about taking care of one another, and my God is about accepting you and offering you my love? And do you just flush that down the toilet at noon on Sunday? Is that the end of it for you? God is only there from 9 a.m. till noon, and then you go and have pizza. So I was sort of shocked by that, but it was back then. But to think we're there again is frightening. But we'll be gone again. This will pass. Well, my job is not to discuss or to decide what my job is. I need to look and see what the young people want. What is it you want out of the world? I'll never forget, maybe 15 years ago, the Stonewall, it wasn't a march anymore, it was a parade by then, and I arrived at Central Park, and there by the fountain was this group of people pushing for gay marriage. And I'm going, what the fuck? We're in the middle of this battle, and we're fighting for all day, and you want to wear a wedding dress? What the fuck is wrong with you people? And then I said, you know what? This is what they want now. These are the young people. Listen to them, see what they want. And I was so wrong, because gay marriage, all of a sudden, heterosexuals that never would have thought of it went, oh, they want to be able to visit each other in the hospital. I get that. Oh, they want to share a bank account. I get that. Oh, they want to have both names on an apartment lease. I get that. They didn't understand the sex. They didn't get the sex. They understood the life. And gay marriage ended up freeing us in ways that my screaming and yelling never would. So listening to the young people, when people started using the word queer, I freaked out. I said, I've been fighting my entire life not to be called names like that. Then I said, it's up to them. And I wrote a book called The Sissy Duckling, in which they call him a sissy, and they call him a sissy, and he says, yes, I'm a sissy, and proud of it. It's not what they call you. It's that they respect you. Thank you all and have a really good time. I want to go see the show.